Yeah. 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 So many lies that you hear from the net, they don't get her respect. She reporting the truth, not a check. You want an unbiased opinion straight from the chest, not a bit of accomplice or someone here for a check. Tune in, these are thoughts from a lawyer on a mission who goes so hard it's like she works on commission. Trolls in the comments might say she tripping cause they lack the knowledge. They don't know they missing. Got a couple current events that you like. Wanna know about law from the eyes. Tired of all these blogs running lies because their agendas are disguised. Tune in to the intellect, cause I'm sure y'all missing all the facts of the case that she steady is gifting. Someone here for the people, man, it's so uplifting. If you ain't subscribed yet, then you just omitting facts.
Hello, everyone. It is Pam Esquire, also known as Your Law Intellect. I'm back. I am back. Welcome to all of you all that have been following this whole Sean Diddy Combs saga. Where, for those of you that don't know, on yesterday, Sean Combs was denied bond in front of a magistrate. And so, as we speak, his attorney is arguing why he should be out on bond. Now, his attorney also has presented additional conditions for the court to consider because the AUSA said those conditions that he was requesting, as far as the tether and all of that, was not sufficient. So his attorneys went back to the drawing board on last night after he got done doing the CNN interview, because I did see that as well. And he has added more, and he's also responded in that on that letter that he sent to the judge. It's a little bit more lengthier. So we read about a 10-page letter related to why his attorney feels like he should be out on bond. Now it's around 15 pages. So I told you all that a way that you all can follow what's going on inside the court, because we all know that they do not allow folks to record in there. So that's why you see a lot of the sketch artists. Let me see. You see a lot of the sketch artists and all of that, because you can't. Let me do it backwards. You can't record in there. So according to Inner City Press, who was in there, they are kind of giving us tweets play by play of what is happening. Looks like the AUSA is arguing. And he has on here this was 15 minutes ago during the argument, that a different victim wrote. Let me see if I could do this a little bit in order. Oh Lord. There's a lot going on here. So that was when he first arrived. Oh, it's all over the place. So he started with the All Rise government. AUSA Emily Johnson said the freak-offs were elaborate. They began in 2009 and extended into this year. Whoa, this year. These freak-offs were arranged with his entourage, and the defendant used narcotics so that the victims would continue: ketamine, GHB, and others. Then it looked like, I don't know why it's coming up all out of order here. He noted, I guess, Diddy's family was walking into the hearing. The AUSA said we seized 6 guns. They were in the defendant's home and he had access to them. We are focused on the defaced guns in defendant's closet. We talked about that this morning. It is illegal to have the defaced guns, and it's more likely than not that it would be in his possession, or they could argue that more proficiently if it was in his personal closet in his room. The other ones, like I said earlier, it's a lot of staff in the house. He has people that are groundkeepers. He has security. He has family members. He has a huge compound. So it would be difficult to try to pin every gun on him. So that's interesting. This is not about security, but about dangerousness. The security team is the same one he says would monitor him. So in his new updated motion, he was asking that his security be able to monitor him. So that's what they're discussing, and we'll pull that up in a minute. Um, the defendant would record these freak offs, at least in part, to use them to blackmail. We have an email of a victim who says, "You were going to make me. I'm not going to say it on the public record, or you were going to leak some FO ish." So I guess he would say, if you tell or whatever, then I'm gonna release these videos. A different victim wrote, he said he was going to expose me with the sex tape. I was drugged. That's just two examples. And so it's rich when the defendant's submission filed today accuses the victim of extorting. He's the only extorter. So yeah, that is a spot where you can see the play by play. There are really people that are out here putting in the work. They're so out of order though. I'm about to just read it on my phone. It says the AUSA, the AUSA says the defense is arguing that anyone in a freak off wanted to be there. That's not the law. When people are threatened with exposure and are beaten, they cannot consent. That is trafficking. Victims' heads were slammed against car windows. Here are some texts when you get, and they don't read, they got text messages. So now they're reading text messages in the court right now because he just put that 25 seconds ago. Here are some texts. When you get effed up, you knock me around. I'm not a rag doll. I'm someone's child. We have witnesses who witnessed the injuries. This conduct happened behind closed door and in houses, hotel rooms, and cars. Judge, we're concerned. So yeah. So this is the let's see what the, do I have it on here? Let's see what the, it's just so much going on here. I don't think I've been live this much since I've been on YouTube. Okay, let's see what this motion actually said. So we read a lot of it, so I don't want to go over that, but the proposed package, he did add to the package. So this is the proposed package: a $50 million bond co-signed by Sean Combs, his mother, his sister, the mother of his oldest daughter, the mother of his youngest daughter, and his 3 adult sons. Secured by equity in Mr. Combs' residence in Star Island. The appraised value of the home is about $48 million. The home is unencumbered. What's unencumbered today? If you guys were at the hearing, the judge did set aside the restraining order that was on his property. In anticipation of this bail hearing on August 20th. So this is all the same. It's secured by the equity of Mr. Combs' mother's home in Miami, Florida. Mr. Combs' travel will be restricted to the Southern District of Florida and the Southern District of New York to attend court, meet with his counsel, and attend medical appointments, as well as the Eastern District of New York or the District of New Jersey. Mr. Combs' passport was surrendered to his counsel on April 1st, 2024. All his family members, I don't know why they had to give up their passports too, but even the baby, look at baby Love. She had to give up her passport too. Since at least April 2024, Mr. Combs has been making efforts to sell his airplane. We went over that. Home detention with GPS monitoring. And now he added restrict all visitors to Mr. Combs' residence on Star Island. He owns both properties. They're joint together, except for family, property caretakers, and friends who are not considered to be co-conspirators. Restrict female visitors to Mr. Combs' residence except for family or mothers of his children. The security company that secures Mr. Combs' person and properties will require any person who enters the property to sign a visitor log, and then the company will produce those logs to pretrial services nightly. No contact with known grand jury witnesses. Weekly drug testing by pretrial services. All other standard conditions of pretrial services. And then they also put in a footnote because some of the allegations is the security were a part of some of what they're saying occurred, and allowed a lot of this to happen. So in a footnote, his attorney said if the government and the court prefer that Mr. Combs employ a different security company than the one he has used for the past decade or so, we request a week to engage a new security company to comply with these conditions. So that's how he tried to beef it up a little bit, because there was concern about security. They were like, okay, the tether will prevent flight risk, but we think that he is a danger to the community. So this is what he added on last night. Somebody said, but he hurts males too. Listen, I think they're just trying to go by what I can't stand y'all. I think they trying to just go over by what was in the actual indictment, which sounds like a lot of the stuff they're talking about Cassie. But I get you. I feel you. I feel you. Yeah, it sounds like with all of those, let me see if we got any more updates on Twitter. Let's see here. Immediately after the assault, the defendant sent these messages: call me, the cops are here, I got 6 kids, yo, please call me, I am surrounded, you gonna abandon me all alone? The defendant knew he had done something that could elicit, wait a minute. Ooh, this thread is no joke. I think I got this in order now. Let me look to see if I could, because it's coming up different on my phone than what it did on the computer. Okay, so he starts out in a high ceiling courtroom 110. Sean Combs is at defense table, still in a black shirt. So he's not in an MDC tan uniform. 2 U.S. Marshals seated behind him, waiting on the judge. So then the judge comes in, all rise, government. And then the AUSA, Emily Johnson, says the freak offs were elaborate. They began in 2009 and extended into this year. These freak offs were arranged with his entourage. The defendant used narcotics so that the victim would continue: ketamine, GHB, and others. The defendant would record these freak offs, at least in part, to use them to blackmail. We have an email. A victim says, you are going to make me. I'm not going to say it on the public record, or you're going to leak some FO ish. A different victim wrote, he said he was going to expose me with the X tape. I was drugged. That's just 2 examples. And so it's Rich, when the defendant's submission file today accuses the victims of extorting. He's the only extorter. We see 6 guns. They were in the defendant's home and he had access to them. We are focused on the defaced guns in defendant's closet. This is not about security, but dangerousness. The security team is the same one he says would monitor him. The head of his security has now been served with a subpoena, given that we've learned about his role in the offense conduct. Ooh. Now about the hotel assault. Yesterday, defense counsel called it a fight in a relationship, but it's trafficking. The defendant had a freak off on March 5th, 2016. We have evidence there was one commercial ex-worker there in the room. During the assault, she isn't even wearing shoes. She is in danger. Defendant storms out in a towel. We have a message from the victim. I still have crazy bruising. He claims he wanted to get his clothes back, but that's not what happened here. She tried to escape a room with the defendant and a commercial ex-worker. She fled without shoes. Immediately after the assault, the defendant sent these messages: call me, the cops are here, I got 6 kids, yo, please call me, I'm surrounded, you gonna abandon me alone? The defendant knew he had done something that could elicit police response. He covered up what he did this year. After the surveillance video came out, only then did he admit that it was him. Yesterday, it was claimed that his clothes were taken, but that's not what happened. Why drag the victim back down the hall to the room? The indisputable evidence makes it clear you cannot take the defendant at his word. March 5th, 2016 is far from the defendant's lone act of violence and obstruction. Freak-off activity is the core of this case. They use force, coercion, and drugs. Our investigation is ongoing. Half a dozen escorts is just the tip of the iceberg of the number of escorts who have participated in these freak-offs. This case is charged a sex trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion. The acts were not consensual. Shoosh. The defense now is up arguing that anyone in a freak off wanted to be there. No, I'm sorry. It's still the AUSA. The defense is arguing that anyone in freak offs wanted to be there. That's not the law. When people are threatened with exposure and are beaten, they cannot consent. That is trafficking. Victims' heads were slammed against car windows. Here are some texts. When you get effed up, you knock me around. I'm not a rag doll. I'm someone's child. We have witnesses who witnessed the injuries. This conduct happened behind closed doors in houses, hotel rooms, and cars. Judge, we're concerned. Judge found that she did not believe defense counsel can control the defendant. Consider the Mercedes case in the circuit, reversing a decision to release a defendant. Let's turn to obstruction. Witnesses have expressed extreme fear of him. They have directly contacts a victim in November of 2023. Constant contact with witnesses to the charged conduct after subpoena before government interviews. Two of these examples are there are communications between the defendant and a witness, 13 contacts. It's a lot going on over there at the courthouse. Let me see. Let me try to refresh it and make sure we got the up-to-date tweets. Let's go to the bottom. He recorded the conversations on another person's device. Oh, wait a minute. The judge said 13 contacts with two people, and the AUSA responded, sorry, 14 contacts between the defendant and the witness. Also, he outreached to a witness he had not been in contact with for several years after the grand jury subpoena. He used intermediaries. He recorded the conversations on another person's device. In November 2023, he twice called a victim. On November 19th, he received a text from the other person in response. It reads, I feel like I'm reading my own actual trauma. 3 pages, my experience. The defendant called her and gaslit her, trying to convince her it has been consensual. He repeatedly said he was not supposed to be speaking on the phone. He tells the witness not to text him. The defendant said if support, nothing to worry about, money. The defendant wrote his financial advisor should not make a mistake and not get that rent paid. This was obstruction. We cite U.S. v. LaFontaine, a defendant who fed a false narrative. That's what's going on here. Man. Shout out to Inner City Press. They are tweeting. I think that's it. Woo. This is crazy. You guys, make sure you hit that like button. We also have the Associated Press video waiting on if anybody comes out and makes a statement, but I wanted to. Some of you guys said you didn't know how to do the tweets, so I wanted to do it live so we can just do it, go over it together like we do, We're a family over here. We got to help each other out. Let's see. Oh, the AUSA said, I'll go over the cases. Carter said, that's not necessary. I'm familiar with those cases. The AUSA said a recent civil suit last week, Don Richard filed a civil suit. She was in a band also with Miss Harper. Miss Harper issued a statement after 128 phone contacts. That was 49 seconds ago. Let me see what you guys are talking about over here. Yeah, 128. That's what they're alleging. She contacted. And remember, Miss Harper is the one that did the post and said that Don's experience was not her experience. She does not try to come against or contradict her experience, but she's just saying between her and her husband, that's not what her experience was. And everybody was kind of like interested as to why she decided to make that statement, because her name, I guess she said the reason why she said it was because her name was in the pleading a number of times. But I think it's interesting that if she seemed to put that out there to make it look like she was not against Diddy, but then she's talking to the AUSA letting them know, yeah, he's contacted me 128 times or however many times. 128 phone contacts. The AUSA said we didn't deal with Lawrence Ray's case. Magistrate Judge Fox ordered detention even on one victim, but the judge found that corroborated by documented evidence. The judge said anything else? AUSA said a few more things. Judge said how many? What else you got? I read your letter. What else you got? The AUSA said they need 3 more minutes. So we got 3 more minutes of the AUSA still arguing. Thank you, Forever T, for the super chat. I appreciate it. And Alan Speed, you Penn alum. Thanks. You said thanks, Pam, for legal analysis. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. You said thank you for your hard work. Thank you so much for committing to the channel, being a member for 3 months. I appreciate that. We're just over here, looking at the live tweets, trying to stay on it like we're in the courtroom, because this is how I usually do it when I'm in the courtroom. So yeah, there's that last comment I just read, because I wanted to get to some of the stuff he said in this motion, but shoot, I'm all up on these tweets now. I need another double screen or something. Okay. So I'm gonna keep an eye on the tweets while we try to with the motion as well. So well, it's not a motion, it's just a letter for the bond. So he kind of says the same stuff. I read it yesterday, so go to that video. It's about 3 hours, about voluntarily relocating to New York in advance of arrest. That counsel advised the government that it was in possession of the passports of the members of the Combs family. Counsel's assisting the government concerning the subpoenas. He paid off the mortgage. So all of that same stuff was in there. I'm trying to see what he might have added aside from, he's has philanthropy work. He's given millions of dollars to people and the Boys and Girls Club because they helped him out as a kid. Everybody's generous. Let's see. So the AUSA said Traveling to New York does not address danger to the community. I am here seeking detention, but I note that the bail package does not have enough conditions that focus on obstruction, and it couldn't. He's been involving other people. That's the last tweet. There we have it right there. Make sure you guys hit the like button. I am really trying to multitask here. He had on here second. Few people have done more to advance the cause of Black people in the music, entertainment, and fashion industries than Sean Combs. Okay. I think he added this danger to the community. The government, I'm reading from the defense memo that they filed today, because I didn't want to rehash what we already talked about yesterday, but they did amend it and beef it up a little bit more. So I wanted to make sure you guys were updated on the amended arguments that I'm sure we're going to hear in these tweets soon. But the government has argued that Mr. Combs is a danger to the community, and that what makes the defendant even more dangerous is his extensive and exhaustive history of obstruction of justice. And then they have the transcript from yesterday to cite to. They laid out several allegations that do not, in fact, amount to obstruction at all. The truth is that Mr. Combs has done nothing to obstruct this investigation, and the government does not persuasively argue otherwise. Moreover, while over the past 6 months, the defense has been conducting a defense investigation every bit as rigorous as that being conducted by the government, we have studiously avoided interviewing grand jury witnesses, even though we have the right to interview anyone, and have done everything in our power to be both effective and mindful of the fact that the government has been conducting an investigation parallel to our own. And then they have a subpart that says March 5th, 2016. The government proffered one example for the court of Mr. Combs. I'm going to put this on the screen. I am reading for those that's just coming in from the memo that was submitted. Let me check, make sure we don't have any more tweets first. No. March 5th of 2016, the government proffered one example for the court of Mr. Combs' exhaustive history of obstruction of justice. This obstruction related to an incident caught on video 8 years ago and attached to the government's letter as Exhibit A. However, the circumstances surrounding this incident, even in the light most favorable to the government, does not amount to obstruction. Obstruction of justice requires that a person act corruptly and in regard to an official proceeding. Even under the facts proffered by the government, there was no official proceeding in facts or in the contemplation of Mr. Combs or anyone else. This event from 8 years ago simply is not obstruction of justice. Second, the government argued that when the female depicted in the video filed a 35-page civil lawsuit in November 2023 against Mr. Combs, and Mr. Combs publicly responded by saying, "I did not do any of the awful things alleged," that these denials were further attempts by him to obstruct justice and prevent the truth of this event from being known. To be clear, preventing the truth of an embarrassing event in which Mr. Combs is caught on videotape in an alleged assault is not obstruction of justice. The gravamen of the civil lawsuit was not misdemeanor assault, which is at most what is depicted in the recording, but ex-trafficking. He denied it then, he denies it now, he will deny it forever. This is his argument related to contacting potential victims and witnesses. The government argues that Mr. Combs himself has contacted witnesses, including one who received a grand jury subpoena and at least one victim. Again, this is not obstruction of justice, and the government does not point to any obstructive conduct. Mr. Combs is entitled to gather witnesses to defend himself against the government's allegations of sex trafficking and racketeering. As part of that defense, he, with counsel's blessing, has called potential defense witnesses to let them know that counsel would reach out to speak with them. Tellingly, the government does not point to, nor can they, any conversation Mr. Combs has had with the potential witness since he had knowledge of the criminal investigation where he pressured any witness to change their story. Instead, the government points to Mr. Combs' contact with a female member of a band called Diddy Dirty Money after the filing of a lawsuit against Mr. Combs by another female member of the band. As counsel stated at yesterday's bail hearing, this is the furthest thing from witness obstruction I can think of. And so someone with the exact point of view of the civil plaintiff comes forward and says, in essence, and this is, I thought it was a soft, respectful statement. And the statement was, I'm not taking away her experience. That wasn't mine. That wasn't my experience. This is from Miss Harper that I was just talking about that she posted on her stories. She is entitled to her experience. I was there. That's not what I saw. That's not what I saw. That's two witnesses having divergent recollections of similar events. And I expect this trial is going to feature exactly that. So there's nothing wrong with that. That's why we have a criminal trial and civil trial. So let's see. Let's see if we have any more tweets. Um, okay, so it looks like the defense is up now. So they have the defendant. So the AUSA ended by saying the defendant should be detained pending trial. And the judge said, defense, your turn. So the defense lawyer gets up. Combs' lawyer, Mark Agnafilio. I know I messed your name up, sir. I'm going to ask you how to pronounce it. I apologize. Mark, let me start with Miss Harper. I was called by her and a lawyer. I said, do what you want, make a statement or not. I later found out that she did. So that's his response, starting out to what the allegation was with the statement made by Miss Harper from Diddy Dirty Money. This is like a soap opera, man. It's like play by play. Let me see. You guys think they're gonna let him out on bond? What you think? I hate the way it's doing this though. Trying to keep this stuff updated on here. Combs' second lawyer, Tiny Garagos, Miss Harper felt she was being besmirched. We did speak with her at 2 a.m. on the 11th. The judge said after speaking, what would be the reason for Mr. Combs to continue contacting her? Garagos said she was concerned she was in the media. So apparently right now there is discussion about the conversation with Miss Harper. That is what they are discussing right now in the courts. So the second lawyer is there. I think it's a woman. I think that is a good idea. I was wondering if they were going to have a woman that was on the team because I think it can look harsh when you have men that are cross-examining other women that are victims or alleged victims. So they're explaining now there's a lot of back and forth with the conversation about Miss Harper from Diddy Dirty Money. Okay. So then let's go on to what the defense is going to end up arguing because we're going back and forth between the tweets that are happening live in the courtroom and we're also discussing the memo that was sent or the letter that was sent to the court and to substantiate the request for bond. So the defense attorney goes on to say, before addressing the proposed condition that relate to danger and obstruction, it is critical to note that every allegation in the indictment and every argument in the government's detention letter is being factually contested in detail. We are not merely making general denials of guilt. Rather, we are advancing detailed, specific facts that undermine the government's theory at its core. We will provide examples of this. First, there is one alleged sex trafficking victim in the indictment. One. The government can say what it wants, but what is actually charged is one victim. Count two, charging sex trafficking mentions victim one. There is no victim two. That one person was in a 10-year romantic relationship with Sean Combs. That one person was an adult woman who lived alone, who never lived with Sean Combs. She had her own friends, she had her own life, as adults tend to do. Mr. Combs and this person were very much in love for a long time, as the many written communications between them show. This one person often expressed anger and jealousy because Mr. Combs had another girlfriend, as will be testified to by many witnesses and as the written communications show. At the end of Mr. Combs and the person's relationship, she started a relationship with her trainer, which prompted Mr. Combs and the woman to break up. He did not force her to stay, but instead released her from any obligation to his record label. A month later, when the mother of four of Mr. Combs' children passed away, this person was present at multiple memorial services around the country to support him. This is not ex trafficking. 5 years later, this woman hired a lawyer to contact Mr. Combs' lawyer. Mr. Combs' lawyer recorded the conversation, which lasted 8 minutes and 12 seconds. The woman's lawyer said the woman wrote a book. It would be a tell-all book that would be embarrassing to Mr. Combs. Her lawyer said that she would be meeting with book publishers to publish the book. However, if Mr. Combs wanted to buy the exclusive rights to the book, then he would own the right and could prevent the book from being published. Her lawyer then said that in order to stop the book from being published, Mr. Combs would have to pay $30 million. When that clear extortion proved unavailing, the woman took another tack. She hired a lawyer to bring a civil complaint, taking advantage of an expanded statute of limitation for sex cases. Mr. Combs settled the case. This was not because he RAPE'd or X trafficked anyone, but because of the disastrous consequences of a lawsuit of this nature would have on him and his business interests. We are now in a position where the only person alleged to be victim in count two extorted Combs on audio tape and profited millions of dollars. The precise settlement of the civil suit remains confidential. We have countless written communications that tend to negate any lack of consent and any coercion. The evidence shows a long-term loving relationship that became strained by mutual infidelity and jealousy. The evidence of this and this alone is overwhelming. There was no ex trafficking. There was no ex trafficking of any sort, and we will conclusively prove that at a trial. If the presumption of innocence means anything, it means that when proffered, detailed, factual defense is readily apparent, the court should reserve judgment and should wait for the facts and the trial. That all being said, we are willing to agree to significant conditions outlined as though Mr. Combs is a danger, which he is plainly not. As indicated above, we are willing to restrict visitors to his home. We are willing to ensure that he is not in contact known that he not contact known witnesses, and we are willing to have him undergo weekly drug testing in addition to other conditions outlined on page 2 and 3 of this letter. So that is part of the letter. Let's see if we got any more updated tweets. Let's see what we have. So Agnafilio said, I have brought today the head of Sage Intelligence. We are proposing that Sage Intelligence personnel, all former law enforcement, will be monitoring the residence of Mr. Combs 24/7. They will have one or two employees there at all times. His attorney also said there will be a visitor log. Only pre-approved could come in. We could give the list to the court. Mr. Combs will not have a cell phone or access to the internet. That way, no witness intimidation, completely nullified. He is in there fighting to get his client out. He's like, listen, basically, we'll have him in jail at his own house. Because that's what it sounds. I mean, they even could use the phone in the jail. But he's willing to give up the internet, all communications. But I told you guys that one of their main arguments was that they were trying to say that this was consensual with Cassie. So when the government was saying the nerve of him to say that he was extorted, that's what they are referring to. We all heard that there was some $30 million request, and everybody was like, why didn't he just pay him? Why didn't he just pay her? Why didn't he pay her? And so it sounds like to them, and they have a recording, Cassie was going to do a tell-all book and said, but you can buy the exclusive rights and I won't even let this out if you just give me this $30 million. And then when he was like, no, because he's saying he felt extorted, she went and filed the lawsuit. And then, of course, once it hit the public, he was trying to make it go away. So again, he still ended up paying millions of dollars. So if she wanted 30 million in, you know, if she told the world about everything, she probably wanted more, if I had to guess. Somebody said all those security officers have phones. I like the way y'all think over here. I really, really do. You guys are really my people. You said a court of law will decide this. He is innocent until proven guilty. That applies to all people, not just certain demographic. You are absolutely right, Amy. Next, no argument for me. I agree. You are innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, which is the highest burden, the highest threshold of this here United States of America. Yeah, I heard all the reports of what she got, but we don't really know what she got because confidential is supposed to be just that. I don't know how that would have got leaked or who would have said that. You know, he didn't tell anybody how much he had to come out of. So then he says, having Sage Intelligence on site, we'll do what we have to do. Even 3 there. If don't believe that Mr. Combs' actions in coming to New York are only about risk of flight, it shows he is deeply respectful of the court's authority. He is responsible. Again, right now, as we speak, his attorneys are arguing to try to get bond for Mr. Combs. Okay, that was the last one I just read. So I guess we'll have to wait a couple of minutes. Let me see if there's anything else that was in this renewed motion. Okay, a review of other ex-trafficking cases in the Southern and Eastern District are not similar to this case. At yesterday's bail hearing, the government argued that this case is in the heartland of detention cases of this magnitude and this similar charged conduct. This is not accurate. So then he's going through all of the different cases that the government went over yesterday to make their case and showing how it's distinguished from his case with Mr. Combs. That's what he's doing right now. So he's saying first the government cited U.S. v. Epstein. So they used the Epstein case as their authority yesterday when they were arguing. So the government said where the defendant was detained pending trial. In Epstein, the defendant was arrested after landing on his private jet at the Teterboro Airport, having just traveled internationally to France. In contrast, Mr. Combs has not flown internationally since November of 2023 and made a commitment to the prosecutors after the raids of his home that he would not travel out of the country during the pendency of the investigation. Additionally, unlike here, where there are no allegations that Mr. Combs trafficked minors, Epstein was alleged to be a serial sexual predator who preyed on dozens of minor girls over a period of years. So he's saying the government tried to compare this case to the Epstein case because he was remanded without, he had to have bond. He was denied bond and was remanded pending trial. And he's saying our case is distinguishable from this. Second, the government cited U.S. v. Keith Rainier, a sex trafficking case in the Eastern District of New York in which the undersigned were counsel. Mr. Rainier was arrested in a town in Mexico to which the government alleged he fled when he learned of the Eastern District of New York investigation into his alleged conduct. Here, unlike in Rainier, Mr. Combs traveled to the district that was investigating him. Moreover, at the time of the bail hearing in Rainier, the government alleged that he had multiple relationships with minors. Here, there is no allegation. So apparently, Diddy's attorney was on this case as well. The government turned to U.S. v. Robert Kelly. So they also mentioned R. Kelly. That was in the Eastern District of New York, which, like the others above, I thought that was in Southern District. So I guess that was in the Eastern District, which, like the others above, centered around abuse of minors over a prolonged period of time. We do not have those allegations here. Additionally, there are significant distinctions between Mr. Combs' compliance with the government's investigation and defendant Ghislaine Maxwell and U.S. v. Maxwell, a recent ex-trafficking case from the district where the defendant was not granted bail. There, Judge Nathan denied Maxwell's bail where attempted to evade detection by the media and law enforcement. The defendant had demonstrated an extraordinary capacity to evade detection. Defense has acknowledged to be extreme and unusual efforts to locate her. Indeed, regardless of whether the defendant sought to evade the press rather than law enforcement, in the months leading up to the arrest, her sophistication in evading detection reveals the futility of relying on any conditions, including GPS monitoring, restrictive home confinement, and private security guards to ensure her appearance. Judge Nathan put significant weight on this factor to support detention. Here, Mr. Combs did the complete opposite. He flew to the district investigating him a week ago. He has been publicly in New York City, captured on social media and blogs. Indeed, given his notoriety, he would be unable to evade law enforcement. So he is distinguishing his case from all of these high-profile cases that have happened in the entertainment world recently. Oh, man. Why is this not? Wait a minute. Did I pass it? Mr. Combs, this is part of the tweets that just happened in court. Mr. Combs knew he was under investigation and gave us his passport. This is not defense lawyer theater. We took the passports of 5 of his family members. We have a letter of intent to sell his airplane. We had 3 buyers who didn't work out. The judge said, "Can you get to the point?" Not the judge asked, "Can you get to the point?" His attorney said, "It shows he's trustworthy. He's not a defendant who says, 'Come find me,' at Maxwell and Epstein." The judge said, "How does that relate to the danger and obstruction? If he was aware in April, why was he contacting the witnesses?" Basically, the judge ain't trying to hear nothing he's talking about right now. She said, get to the point. Yeah, I think so too. I think she's already made up her mind. Miss Fine, thank you for the super chat. You said, Pam, do you remember P. Diddy's choreographer, Lori Ann Gibson? Yes, I do. She was on Making the Band as well as their choreographer. I wonder what she would say about her experience with Diddy, because his reality show, we saw how he treated her and talked to her. She has information. She definitely has information because I believe she sued him or something at one time and they ended up settling or coming to some agreement. They were beefing at one point and then somehow they had a kumbaya. So I'm sure she did see a lot because he did treat her like trash. That's what I'm saying. A lot of this stuff where people are trying to make it seem like they are so shocked at some of these allegations as far as Diddy's temper and how he treated people. He displayed a lot of that stuff on these shows. Like when he was on Making the Band, he was talking to a lot of those people like trash. I mean, but people were willing to take it for an opportunity or a shot to be famous. They were willing to sacrifice that. And I never understood that. That's why I said I need a psychologist to come help me out because I don't know. We're street jurors, judge first, proof later. You know what? I got time today. Thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate that. Y'all said Diddy is trash. Diddy is innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, what if he come with videos and he come with his own evidence in court? Are you guys gonna take some of this back if that happens to happen? Huh? We only know what the government is telling us they have. So he said a woman contacted, so his attorney said a woman contacted him. So this is in response to the judge saying, how does that relate to danger and obstruction? If he was aware in April, why was he contacting witnesses? So then the attorney for Diddy said a woman contacted him, said she'd gotten a subpoena. We told him don't speak to her. The judge said, talk to me about danger. Like move on, move on, sir. I need you to talk to me about danger. That's the problem we have here. We know we could put them on tether. We know we can monitor. We can make them go to pretrial services. We know we can make them do drug tests. However, how are you showing that he is not a danger to society when there seems to be a pattern and practice of police reports that have gone back for decades and nothing has happened? We got cars blowing up. We got people that said they had medical injuries because of you. So how do we know that you're not going to use your influence and power and pretty much do the same thing? That is what the judge seems to be focused on right now. Don't want to hear about you not Epstein, you're not R. Kelly, you're not Ghislaine. Don't want to hear about any of that. So his response was, the judge said, talk to me about danger. So his response was, people who are a danger are people who are contemptuous of the court. But Mr. Combs has never been contemptuous of the court. Huh? Because he hasn't been in contempt or violated. Well, the case just started. Contemptuous of the court. That's interesting. That was an interesting response. Um, I'm gonna have to go in the chat. We need to caucus on this, like we're back into the jury room. Yep, that's what it means. I wanted to make sure contemptuous didn't mean something else. I mean, showing contempt. I'm like, what? What does that have to do? What does that have to do with what we're talking about right now? D-Day said, let that man out on bail. That's what he said. God did it, said it makes no sense. I mean, we need to caucus because I don't understand. They made me Google the word like I don't even know what the word means, and I use it. It's just like, what does this word mean? My gosh, it's 2,000 of you guys. Hit the like button. We're just doing the blow by blow like we're in the courtroom on this here Twitter over here on Inner City Press. Shout out to them. I don't know who they are, but they are giving some good tweets and we appreciate it. I want to see what the response is. The judge said, oh, wait a minute. So then the attorney said he had a case in New York in 1999. He came to court every time. He shows up on time. So then the judge said, under your plan, will he have employees? And then the attorney said they handle his finances. They are in California. The judge said, would he be able to leave his residence? The attorney said no. So the judge said, and the security, they could be there in the house. So the judge said, yes, in shifts. We will put cameras filming 24 hours a day. They could do spot checks. He doesn't use the internet. We can make it as secure as we need to make it. There are already cameras there. He is fighting. His attorney is fighting to get him up out of there. You guys gonna make me go to New York so I can sit in this courtroom and give my own blow by blow. Let's see. Okay. So we don't have any responses yet after that. So let's go back to the defense's beefed up letter. Some of the things that they're probably not talking about everything in this letter just because the judge seems like she's like, get to the point. I have certain points that I want you to focus on, and that's what I would like for you to focus on right now. I've read your letter, so I know what a lot of your arguments are, so get to the point. So they're concerned more about danger to the community is what the issue is. So in his letter, he says the proposed bail package addresses any issues with flight and danger to the community. In light of the proposed conditions, the actions Mr. Combs had already taken regarding the investigation, and Mr. Combs' lifetime commitment to live up to his obligations concerning every challenge he has ever faced, he should be released to fight this case in court and prove his innocence. It is significant that Mr. Combs' adult sons, his mother, his sister, and two mothers of his children are willing to sign onto such a significant bond. Those closest to him wholeheartedly believe he will return to court, and the moral suasion is sufficient to ensure compliance with the proposed condition of release. Sean Combs has never evaded, avoided, eluded, or run from the challenge in his life. He will not start now, as he has handled every hardship. He will meet this case head on. He will work hard to defend himself, and he will prevail. Recognizing that a bail hearing is not the time to defend the merits of the criminal case, it is relevant to bail that the defendant has made a clear commitment to defend this eminently defensible case. This is such a case. Finally, several courts in the district have recognized that the conditions at Metro Detention Center in Brooklyn are not fit for pretrial detention. We talked about that yesterday. We also discussed that in detail when it came to the Bishop Lamar Whitehead situation. So they say just earlier this summer, an inmate was murdered. At least 4 inmates have died by suicide there in the past 3 years. Numerous courts in the district have raised concerns with the horrific conditions of detention, and they have a bunch of different circumstances of which there were issues with detention. Let's see. Shoot, I need Inner City just to text me. I need him to text me. Can you just text me, sir, so I can get it immediately? So the judge said the video is troubling. He was 40 something years old. His attorney said he realized he has a problem with drug addiction and anger. He went into a rehab program for a period of time. The woman in the video also went into rehab at around the same time. So the attorney said they loved each other. The written messages are heartbreaking. The sex and the violence were totally separate, motivated by separate things. They chose to be intimate, they would bring a third person on. They chose that. So basically, those threesomes, freak offs, and all that baby oil that they found, that's something to how they chose to have in their relationship is what his attorney is alleging. Thank you, Carol, for becoming a new member. I appreciate that. Work in progress at jail will help him with that anger issue. Shalonda said, let the law stand free until proven guilty. Let him go out on bail. All right, Shalonda. Hey, I'm Ty Cherie. I appreciate you coming on, hanging out with us. I forfeited my little afternoon nap. I said, nope, I'm not going to wake up to know what happened in this hearing. I need to know what's happening right now. And so, let me refresh this. Yeah. They're still outside waiting to see if they can get any. Let's see. Let's see. The judge said, what does that have to do with him punching her, throwing a vase at her? What's love got to do with that? Now she quoted Tina Turner. She said, what's love got to do with it? And the attorney said that was jealousy from infidelity in both directions. Mr. Combs and the other person, the violence is from that. The judge said, what is your point? Judge sound a little irritated at these defenses. Ooh, the judge said, what's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion? Not the judges quoting Tina Turner. Oh, my. He said, I love this judge already. This is the judge presiding over his case, too. Woo. Now, she started talking about, so if he said, eat the cake anime, you think that's appropriate, counsel? You think that's love? You think that's okay? Did you see that Tina Turner movie? So are you comparing their relationship to how Ike treated Tina? Whew. You said Diddy's stomach is probably sick right now. Man got the bubble guts. He probably nervous. Listen, I don't know where this is going, guys. I don't really know. This judge is giving him the business right now. Oh, wait a minute. So then the judge says, and you say they invited a third person in. If that person is a commercial sex worker and they travel across state lines, isn't that a problem? His attorney said, I've spoken with the agency. They say they are not paid for sex, but if they feel like it. What? This was like an LLC? Are you saying these workers worked at a corporation like they worked at a company? Like this is an agency, like dollar sex? Like, is this what it $1-800 sex? What is this? He said, I spoke to the company, and the company said they don't take money for sex. So was this an escort place? And then they just choose whether they want to get it in or not? She said it probably didn't help his argument. See, what I'm noticing, everybody is not I wonder what school this attorney went to, because I want to test my theory. But everybody is not a person that is good on their feet. So like when I was in law school, I did moot court, and that's basically when like you go to the appellate court. When you go to the appellate court, you can come in there with a whole nice, pristine, mapped out argument, but you're prepared. They're going to cut you off, and you have to remember what your place is. They're going to throw questions at you. It'll be 1, 2, they throw questions at you, and you have to be prepared because you don't know what those questions are, and be on your feet and be prepared to argue. Then once you answer their question, they'll be like, go ahead, counsel. And you have to remember the space you were at in your argument if you had not just gave it all to them in the questions, and try to somehow reformulate almost what you have practiced. So in these motions, you can go back over, write what you want, rewrite it, do all of that. But you have to, but when you're in court, if the judge is a person that is going to ask you questions, you get some judges that just sit there. They already got their opinion, so they really don't care what you have to say. And you may get some that genuinely want to know, what is your defense to some of this stuff? Or what do you say about this? And everybody is not that good on their toes. So Dion Davi, thank you for the super chat. You said, in the video, I didn't see someone who fought back. She folded. How can he claim the violence went both ways? This lawyer's not helping. No bail. Okay. She said no bail. We're getting all the facts here as it plays out. They like, girl, stop using this man's stuff. I might have to send him a PayPal or super chat or something, because I appreciate his good reporting. So then the attorney goes on after he said, I've spoken with the agency. They say they are not paid for sex, but if they feel like it. So then the attorney goes on to say, the former government of New York, he did this and he was not prosecuted. They are prosecuting Mr. Combs for it. What? The judge said, let's get back to that video and the physical beating. Why isn't that relevant to dangerousness? And his attorney said, but Your Honor, it's not sex trafficking. He done threw in Cuomo. Isn't that Cuomo that had to step down because he was accused of some type of stuff? And I like Cuomo. I thought he was all right. Well, I don't know what he did. I'm not from New York, but he seemed okay when I saw him on CNN. Keeping it real with Dom K said this attorney is terrible. Man, really? Y'all, it's over 2,000 of you. Please hit that like button. If you're just coming in, we are acting like we are in the courtroom. We are social media jurors. We are the law intellects. If you guys would like to join our platform, this is what we do over here. We critique cases and we give our unsolicited opinions, okay? But we do know that people are innocent until proven guilty by a court of law, and they have to be proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. However, we weigh all of the evidence. You know, we try to be as unbiased as possible. Some of these cases make it a bit hard, but we really do try to. So if you enjoy it over here, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tell Lottie Dottie and everybody what we do over here at the Law Intellect platform. This morning, we actually watched the hearing of Diddy versus, what's that guy's name? Derek Cardello Smith, and that $100 million lawsuit, that $100 million judgment that he was able to get against Diddy, and the judge has set it aside. So go watch that video, but don't do that till after this live. April Glow Girl said they lying. He told her to find escorts to with big black. Remember, they were definitely hired to have sex. And this attorney normalizing abuse is wild. Thank you so much for the super chat and for commenting. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm loving that you loving it over here. Let's see. We just impromptu sometimes too. So you fit right in if you just like us just randomly coming on live and looking at tweets. That's how much we like to stay on it. Yeah, okay. We don't have any won't have any more tweets left. Okay, let's go back to the motion here, or why I keep calling it a motion. The letter that the defense filed today, of which he's trying to beg the judge to let him out on bond, he being Sean Combs. So he goes over all of the concerns with the Metropolitan Detention Center, which is the temporary home right now of Mr. Sean Diddy Combs. It says courts in the Eastern District of New York have shared the same concerns. The court noted it was worried about MDC's conditions as one of the reasons for sentencing the defendant to non-custodial sentence. And that was it. So that was pretty much all they added. They kind of responded, attempted to respond to whatever the government was arguing yesterday. They've tried to craft their argument so they can be prepared for the government to argue that today. So I don't know if that persuaded any of you guys either way, from what we went over yesterday. But yeah. Okay. Won't have anything new yet. It's been a little minute. It's been like 7 minutes. Hold on. Let's see. All right, let's go. Let's see what the Associated Press is doing over there. Look, I want to see everybody that I know that's up in this courtroom. I'm trying to see what you have to say. We trying to see something. We just trying to. We just trying to see something. Associated Press. I didn't even see them talking about it. Who else is tweeting this? Anybody know anybody else that is tweeting this as well? We appreciate you though. Again, Inner City Press. You have kept us abreast. We feel like we are present in this courtroom. We really appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. You are doing a great job. I just need another update from 9 minutes ago. That's it. I don't know why it's not showing up on here because it seems like you said something now. Unless the judge just went off the bench for a minute. Let me see. He did say something. Okay, he said he was an actual altar boy. What? Hold on a minute. Let me start over here. Why is this thread? Hold on. Trying to put it on here. Okay. So it has the attorney for let me show this whole thread. He was an actual altar boy. The judge said, "How far back are you going?" The attorney said he watches a sermon every day. Now, if he say TD Jakes, I'ma fall out. But he didn't say that though. He watches a sermon every day. He has done a great deal to earn the court's trust. I ask you to release him. The judge said, I've heard from the parties. I find that the government has proven that the defendant is a danger. Regarding the bail package, it is insufficient even on risk of flight. Sean Combs will remain detained. So Sean Combs will remain detained. That is the decision of the courts. So let's see how fast he'll come outside. come outside. Sean Combs will remain retained. Detained. Again, for those of you that are coming in, the judge has ruled. He said, I've heard from the parties. I find that the government has proven the defendant is a danger. Regarding the bail package, basically, she don't care if you add and you giving everybody's passports out. You got security, you got cameras. He ain't talking on the phone. He ain't talking on the camera. The judge said none of that is sufficient. It is insufficient even on risk of flight. Sean Combs will remain detained. You heard it first here, guys. Well, you first heard it, on this. We was following his tweet, so it's really his breaking news. But he will remain retained. So let's see if anybody comes out here and talks about what happened in court. Let's see if anybody comes out and has anything to say. Let's see here. Let me post this on my stories. You guys should be very proud of me. I have really been on social media. I don't even post on Instagram or any of that. And I've been doing that like for the last 2 weeks, and I'm very proud of myself. I really am. So what song should we do on Instagram? Let's see. All righty, let's see. Little Lady D said, thanks, Pammy Pam. Thank you so much for rocking with your girl. We just over here gonna see if any statements are made. But we all know that he ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. Yeah, he's not going anywhere. Why does he have a song for everything? Like he really does. When I listen, like I start thinking about his songs, I'm like, he really has a lot of songs that like coincide with what is happening in his life right now. Somebody said he won't survive. We all know Puffy ain't that dude. He's gonna Epstein. Y'all think so? So I think someone asked his attorney if the attorney was concerned about that, and I think the attorney said no. You said locked up. That's the song I got on Instagram. Diddy sliding down the wall and punching the air right now. Take that, take that. You know what, Kim Crochets. Thank you for the super chat. I see you guys have jokes on today. Lex said, I don't know why I'm relieved, like he was a danger to me. Miss HLS said he needs a new attorney. You think he need a new attorney? You think that attorney ain't getting that attorney been on deck since at least earlier this year? Because he was trying to reach out to the government in March. So yeah, I'm sure that bill is billing right now. You know what? Kim Porter's spirit is happy now that he is where he should have been locked up. Thank you, Shalonda, for the super chat. I appreciate that. His attorney tried his best. Listen, you can't make up you can choose your clients, but you can't choose your facts. He did what he could with what he did. Now I would have been okay. I would have crafted it and approached it a little bit more different than a lot different. I don't even want to say a little bit. You cannot minimize domestic violence. You cannot minimize danger, because then it makes it look like you don't think what you have done was wrong. Now, for instance, if he said on his, when he apologized on that video, what did he say? He said, I was in a dark place at that time. He said that he's not the same person. He's gotten therapy. Why not show the therapy letter? Because this is from 8 years ago. Why not go get his therapy letters and show that he is not doing this recently? Because this was 8 years ago. He's gotten treatment, he's gotten help, and he's acknowledged that he was wrong. He knew he had a problem. And a lot of it was alcohol and drug induced, but the judge should have been like, what step are you on? I'm on 8. What is 8? To see if he got the therapy. I would have never minimized domestic violence, but I would have said, it was terrible. The video was awful. If it was my daughter, I'd be pissed off. I could see if her family is mad. But it was 8 years ago, and you can't go back to what was. But what he did do, even before this lawsuit was filed, was he's been to therapy and he's had treatment. And a lot of this stuff was anger with his father, or whatever else was your issues as to why he had a hatred towards women. And he acknowledged he had a hatred towards women. But you can't, how he was then is not how he is now. And here are the records that show it. Oh, I'm sorry. Courtney said, stop giving a it's over with now. I was just saying how I would have done it. I would have did a different approach. That's all I'm saying. People can change, right? We don't want to be held to stuff we did in the past. God knows I don't want to be. But if they're focusing on the 8 years ago, right? If you're focusing on what happened 8 years ago, then I want to show how I am not that person from 8 years ago. You can talk about conversations. Okay, they contacted me and told me they were subpoenaed. I can show the records that they called me. We're not beefing. We don't have anything. I didn't tell them not to show up. I didn't tell them not to show up at all. And if there's recordings, then, Your Honor, I feel like my client was getting set up. The reason why they're recording this is because their purpose was to set my client up, and apparently it worked. He thought they were cool. She brought up the relationship or whatever they had in the past, and they started talking about it. By no way did he say, he's already given the families. I'd have receipts. He's paid this rent. He's paid that rent. That's nothing for him to pay rent. For the average person, maybe the people you come encounter, but for this man right here, this is who he is. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying there should have been a little bit more sweat equity in this argument, because I'm sure he got paid swell. Pam, I have missed the intellects in chat, but I'm glad to be back with my YouTube judge. Thank you, KK Scorpio. We missed you too. Let me see what y'all got to say besides Pam, be quiet. You doing too much. I'm sorry, it just flows. I don't even know this case. That's what I'm like. I don't know the case like that except what we know in the media. And literally, this is how I think. This is my everyday conversation. So, like, my husband tells me all the time, why are you doing that? Like, that is free. If people will pay for that. But this is literally my everyday conversation. It's not like I thought it up. Now, if I thought for real and had time, oh, baby, I would have came with the case law. I'd have had all type of stuff, to throw. But I'm not, this is just off the top of my head. This is off the dome. PW said he still would be denied because of the client he is. You may be right. He may be sometimes you have uncontrollable clients. You may be right. Gigi said, Diddy's team about to be calling you. No. No, they come do an interview because we want to know what was you talking about in there? Did the judge just quote, what's love got to do with it? We just want to know, what did you think when she quoted, what's love got to do with it? What was going through your mind as his defense attorney? What do you think Diddy was thinking when she quoted, what's love got to do with it? Diddy probably was like, I need a sketch artist because I want to know what Diddy's face was looking like when she started quoting "What's love got to do with it?" Pam, now that he's in until trial, do you see a speedy trial by his defense coming? You know, speedy trials are a catch-22 because the reason why I say that is because that means his defense team has to get up to speed to hours and hours of video, audio, wiretapping, all of that. Like, but you have a government who has been massaging and developing this case for months, and they know this case like the back of their hand. So yes, you have the right to a speedy trial, but is that the do you think that's a good thing to do necessarily? You need to know your case. You need to be able to recite your stuff. My clients, I can recite it in my sleep. That's how you need to be. So that when the judge asks a question, you're like, I don't know, Your Honor. Let me double check and look at these documents here and see if I can find that date for you. That stuff you should know. But he has the right to a speedy trial. We know that. The Tall Diva, thank you for the super chat. You said, Pam, you keep talking, they'll be contacting you tonight to be on making the legal. I asked Dev, I said, they're looking for new security because, you know, Dev has done security. I said, they're looking for new security. Would you like go to be security for Diddy? He was like, no, absolutely not. He was like, no, I'll pass. Why is his attorneys didn't guarantee to the judge that he will enroll into a drug treatment program? He's clearly an addict. That's from Elite Leo. Thank you so much for the super chat. Well, I believe they did say that he has been in drug treatment, but I heard, I don't know if this is true, but I heard when they arrested him, they are alleging that there was still some type of drugs when they arrested him. So apparently that was brought up at the hearing yesterday about the drugs. So clearly, I mean, you can look at Diddy and see he be zoned out, in my opinion. Like, he looks zoned out to me. So to say I'm gonna do it now, as opposed to you should have been did it. If you knew since March, because they're trying to say that he was still engaged in a lot of this stuff in 2024. You knew since March that this was coming. So why wouldn't you, as the government, I'd be like, so why shouldn't you could have been done that? Now you want to do it for bail purposes? Absolutely not. He had plenty of time to do that if that's what he, is gonna do. What else I got? You have been killing it, blow by blow, live reporting. Did he acknowledge that he was wrong? Yet his lawyer acted like it was tit for tat. Not a good look. Justice has prevailed. Thank you, Jazzy, for the super chat. It's very generous of you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I agree. I think it wasn't a tip. It wasn't like, I don't think even if you're arguing to try to minimize, yes, you should try to minimize what they're trying to say has to do with your client, but this isn't the time for it. You come with evidence at trial to show somebody that may come in and say, yeah, I know them, and yeah, she bust them in the head with a brick or something like that. That's going to be your part of your defense to try to minimize what they're saying you did. Then I think that's what you do. But this wasn't the time to make it look like, when this video looks awful, this just wasn't the time to try to say, well, yeah, they were just like the War of the Roses. That's just how they were. That was what it was. They the War of the Roses, and they were just in a toxic relationship. That video looked awful. And yes, he did come up with an excuse as to what happened, and she took his clothes and all of that, but she wasn't. She didn't fight back. There's another video where it looks like, she's all covered up in the corner and he's trying to put the video on her. There's so many things that's out here. And how you gonna get mad that she get a boyfriend if you saying he's saying he had his own girlfriend the whole time, another girlfriend? Like, make that make sense. So are you trying to say you had an open relationship? If that's gonna be your defense, then you might want to save that for a jury. Because doing that right now just wasn't it. I think it made it look, he looked insensitive in front of the judge and he minimized it. But that's just my opinion. Do you think if Diddy agrees to no lube or baby oil, he will be approved for bail? Monica, I'm going to hold you in contempt of court. You are going to do 30 days, 30 days in intellect jail because this right here, it looks like they took all his lube and oil anyway. Because I mean, goodness, where did you get 1,000 bottles of this stuff from? Got these babies going around not smelling like babies because you got all the baby oil. You know that's what we like, the new baby smell. And they got the baby oil on them, and now you done took all this baby oil. Everybody going around trying to find baby oil. That was unnecessary. That should have been a charge. Would you personally represent a client like him? I would say no because I don't do criminal anymore. That would be my rationale for right now. But have I? I've never. I think I've co-counsel because I had a friend that had an actual assault. I've never done trafficking at all, but I had a friend that had done an actual assault type case, and I coached, was co-counsel. I directed a lot of it because he was newer, and so it was his first trial, and he asked me to take lead, even though I was co-counsel. I came in on the day of trial because he was kind of nervous about it, which you should be if it's your first trial. I say it's always good to be nervous, but you have to be prepared. If you stop being nervous, then a lot of times it take away that you even care. So everybody still, don't matter how many times you're doing it, you still get nervous because you want to do the best for your client. But that was the only one. I think we had one client at my old firm who was accused of RA, and we beat that case. So but for the most part, when I was doing active criminal, I did a couple of unaliving cases, assault with intent to murder, like that type of stuff. So I've never really done, I think it's a niche, really. Like if you do these type of sex crimes, I think it's a niche. But you have a lot of lawyers that don't touch it at all. Nick B, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate you. Let's soar. Thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate you. I appreciate the love. Thais said, I know Diddy want to take a bump so bad right now. Thais, thank you for always supporting. I appreciate you. Sassy Experience said his attorney trying to manage both the court's opinion and public opinion. He went on CNN last night and told the feds what his argument was going to be today. I saw a clip of that, Sassy Experience, and you are right. You are absolutely correct. The clip that I saw, and I didn't see the whole interview, but the clip that I saw, it did appear to me that what you're saying is true, that he went on there and he basically said kind of what his argument was going to be, which means that they're prepared on what your argument is. You're not going to know what I'm about to say. I might mess around and pull some text message out that you missed. I don't even, I'm going to assume that what I have you didn't see. So yeah, that may have been not, a mistake, but he's a public figure. I assume that they have a PR person on their team because usually when it comes to celebrities, they have PRs, and they all work on it. They all work together on how they present to the public because they do care about public perception and public opinion because their livelihoods and careers are dependent on it. So, but I don't talk about my personal stuff. I talk about other people's stuff, but I don't talk about my personal case. Unless they're back in the day or something in the past. But yeah, where is the lawyer having the time focus on this case, sir, and not PR? Yeah, he needs a PR person. That's it. That's usually. Didn't Kanye call Diddy the feds? I think he may have, Sonia. Tracy said they moving him to New Jersey. So what? He doesn't have to be in the jail. Let me see. Is that news you have, Tracy? They're moving him to New Jersey. I don't know why this like stopped on this thread. I don't know. Let me look on my phone because I don't know why it's doing that. Did you DM me, Tracy? Locked up, won't let me out. Oh, okay. Can you imagine having Diddy as your bunkie? Like, hey Diddy, can I get that honey bun? Like, how does that conversation go? Okay, so he said, okay, so yeah. So the attorney for Diddy said it would be better if he put in Essex County Correctional Facility. That's in the MDC. The AUSA said the designation authority is entirely given to the BOP. I don't know there is anything the court can do to put its thumb on the scale. So his attorney did argue for him to go to another county. The judge said, "Get me a joint letter on this by Monday, September 23rd. We are adjourned." So it does sound like yeah, so it does sound like he's trying to go in Essex County. Thank you so much, Tracy. I appreciate the update. Can we file a lawsuit on behalf of Ashley? Alice, you trying to be held in contempt too? You about to get held in contempt too, because we're not doing this. What is taking these people so long to come out? Okay, you lost. Okay, let's go. You lost. Like, come on. Look at they just got the swinging door. Can you come out, please? Attorney. You ain't got nothing to do. It's just time. You need to go home and start re-strategizing. Go to the office, go to the drawing board, and let's re-strategize because today was not your best performance. We all have bad days. You know, I'm not acting like I haven't had any bad days, but this was pretty rough. You had the judge quoting Tina Turner. This is pretty rough. This was one of the bad days. Just saying. So let's just start over. Let's get us some good food. Go to what's that barbecue place, Deb, that we go to when we go to New York? Go to the little barbecue chicken place. Have you a cocktail. Their drinks are really good. Get you a drink because you're not getting any sleep. You represent Diddy and he's being accused of trafficking and conspiracy, which means it's a lot of people. So you might as well just go ahead. You live to see another day. Just pep talk yourself. Putting your motivational podcast on. You are somebody. You are great. You were born to be a lawyer. You are here to help people. You win some, you lose some. You're not doing cases if you ain't losing some cases. You know what I'm saying? Just it's fine. But I need you to come out and talk though, because we've been sitting here waiting on you for a while. Oh, Dallas, what is it called, Dev? Dallas BBQs. Yeah, go there, get your Dallas BBQs. So everybody knew what I was talking about, huh? You said, was he in Rikers? No, he was at that detention center, that horrible detention center everybody talks about. Listen, the lawyer can take it all the way up as far as he wants to. That's what he said yesterday. He was gonna keep on appealing until his printer ran out of ink. Ty said, I ought to know the words I wrote it, Ike. She said, what does love have to do with it? That's what she said. I was like, oh, how would I have responded if that were me? What does love have to do with it? would I respond to that? I wouldn't put myself in that position. But what? How would I respond to that? Cause how old is Diddy? Yeah, Diddy's like 50 something now, so he was 40 something. Yeah, you were pretty old when that happened. I don't know. I have to ponder that. How could I have responded to that? He might be bunkmates with Whitehead. Whitehead is actually at a prison, I think. He's at the actual federal prison. These are detention centers, like holding until you go to trial or until you get placed. Diddy is 54. Yeah, so the judge said you were 40 something. So 8 years ago, yeah, Diddy, you were kind of old. You definitely, Kathy Fields, thank you so much. You said 2024 Attorney of the Year Award presented to Pam. Well deserved. Thank you so much. I would like to thank my family. I would like to thank all of the intellects for always believing in me. Thank you so much for spending your Wednesday listening to me read tweets and listening to me read documents because you are just as legally nosy as we all are. With you, I would be nothing. I'd like to thank my mods for blocking all of the dummies. I'd like to thank everyone for supporting me. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Kathy Fields. Thank you so much. I love you. Dev, I love you. You said Judge slapped the appeal down like to Kimbo Matumbo. You had your t-shirt on yesterday. Hey. Sassy Experience said the attorney might front like he's stressed, but in his head, he said, I did my job. His black ass not to call them people. Let me make sure his check clear. Diddy might have been sending him wire. Shoot, don't nobody take no checks from no clients. Are you serious? Checks? You got Cash App or Zelle or Venmo? I want it directly out your account. He said Pam on the call telling people repeated their questions because I'm listening to you. Thank you for the support, Trailer. Some I appreciate it. Bishop Whitehead and Diddy as cellmates, that would be a sight to behold. Listen, I bet you Diddy done. I bet you Whitehead done already put in his request. He probably was like, he's a clout chaser. Yeah. Dep. I heard Diddy. Yeah. I heard Diddy was gonna come to the BOP. I was his bishop when I was out on the street. I was his bishop. So I want to counsel him. So do you think you could put him in the same cell as me? Because he really does love God. He got saved. He got saved at my ministry before I became the chief apostle of the stolen church. He was in my ministry. Him and Takashi 6ix9ine and 50 Cent, they got saved by me. So I'm just asking, man of God, could you please allow him to be one of my cellmates? I'm going to pray for him. I heard he likes to beat women. I don't beat women. I don't put my hands on women. I just put my hands on their stuff. I like to take their stuff, but I don't beat them. You think you could make them come? Do you think I could be their bishop here? I'm the head of the clergy here. I'm the head chaplain over here. Why is people up there waving like that? You said, hold up. He won't be able to get his hairpiece touched up. Will his hair turn into Tory Lanez? Hairline keep changing. Thank you, P. Holland, for the super chat. I'm not doing this with y'all. I'm not doing this. I can never just act professional on here. You guys always get me to act like I'm kicking it in my living room. Thank you, Miss C's Watch, for becoming a YouTube member. We just sitting here trying to see if the lawyer got something to say. Did the lawyer go through the back way? Like, where's the lawyer at? Is the family gonna come out? Did the lawyer go through the back way? We trying to be patient here. I mean, they got the Zoom. They zooming it to the door. I mean, come on. He said, OMG, I passed up 3 divorce attorneys because they all told me to pay the retainer, Zelle, or Venmo, and I thought they were scamming. The third attorney sat me down and explained the thing. So typically, you'll send a link or something. So, to make it look more professional. But you definitely ain't trying to take no checks from some of these clients, baby, because they will have your account in the negative. And when you take retainers from people, it has to go in your trust account. And in your trust account, if it ever bounces, if there's a check that bounces or you get a negative amount or anything in there, it's an immediate alert to the state bar. So yeah, we don't play. Now, if it's already earned and you're paying somebody for what work they've already done for you, or it's just a flat rate retainer, then you can put it in your regular business account. So it, no harm, no foul. But when you got to put money that you haven't earned yet because the client gave you a retainer and you got to put in your trust account, don't give me no check. Absolutely not. Attorney should have blamed it on him not being in his right mind, that he's battling addiction problem, has went to rehab and will continue to be treated. I hear you, Elite Leo. It was a lot of arguments that could have been proffered that were not. So I ain't taking that nan check. No, I'll take a cashier's check though. But instead of spending all that money, you might as well just go ahead and say, we take credit cards. Would you like the link? She said they done snuck out the back door. Listen, these people with these cameras have been out here with these cameras since 2:30. No, 3 o'clock, because it's supposed to start at 3:30. So they've been out there like 3 o'clock trying to get the good position. So they've been out there for 3 hours. I'm just sitting here in my little office. So I guess I shouldn't be complaining. And I get to chit chat with you all. Dang, the court closed down. It's 5:43. Like, when does the court close? Like, what is going on here? You said, I don't even think Diddy gets a pillow. Kiss a smooch. You don't think so? Bull Chat says, sorry, mister, did he get bond? Or are they waiting on a decision? No, he didn't get bond. He is remanded back into custody. He better call TD Jackson up for some prayer. I heard Hezekiah Walker, all of them. You better start talking to your spiritual advisors. Sure. Thais said, without that, just for men, Diddy fixed to look like Grady from Sanford and Son. You know how Tory Lanez was looking, baby. That mug shot was, whoa. He had the lint in the front. His little stuff was peeled back. It was all bad. Come on, y'all. The courts that look like the marshals going home. What is happening here? Maybe he's in the bathroom talking to himself in the mirror. Oh, there go one of the kids, right? Is that one of the kids? Yeah, they following them. Let's see. Ambi Bambi said 2 of my cousins were Kim Porter's cousins. They told me that Diddy gave her a black eye while holding the twins, and she showed up to the family reunion with sunglasses. This was about 20 years ago. Do you remember that scene since we're talking about Tina Turner when Tina Turner got fed up and she was up in that limo? That would have been me. That's why I'm not that person for Diddy. I already know he would have punched me in my mouth because he would have hit me. I'd have been like, we would have been fighting. Everybody ain't about that life to be taking all of that crap. But 20 years ago, you getting black eyes and stuff. That is horrible. That's horrible. I wonder if they're gonna look into Kim Porter's death now. Like if they're just gonna anything related to Diddy, they're just gonna look into it. What you think? What they looking for? We need you guys to come out, okay? We just watching swinging doors. The kids then came out. That means the attorney probably talked to the kids, let them know whatever they're gonna do next. They already got somebody at the office that's trying to get things together. Let me see. Hold on. Let's see if something else came on the docket. There you go. You got something to say? What you got to say?
Good afternoon, everybody. We made a bail appeal to Judge Carter. It did not go our way. The fight continues. We're not giving up by a long shot. I told Mr. Combs I'm going to try and get his case to trial as quickly as possible. I'm going to try and minimize the amount of time he spends in very, very difficult and I believe inhumane housing conditions in the special housing unit of the Metropolitan Detention Facility. And I'm going to do everything that I can to move his case as quickly as possible. I understand that the government has a great amount of electronic devices that they have to download and provide to me, but everything's on the government's timetable. Nothing's on the defendant's timetable, and they're going to have to accommodate me and him and give us a quick trial. And I'm going to be pushing for that. He's ready. He's focused. He has been ready to defend this case since he first found out about this case. Nothing has changed from his perspective. I obviously would much prefer to fight this case with him out of jail, and we are going to try to bring that about through additional legal process. Um, but wherever he is, his resolve is the same. He believes he's innocent. I believe he's innocent, and we're going to fight this case with all of our might until we don't have to fight anymore. I'm not really going to take any questions, but at this point, we are moving forward. We're preparing for trial as we speak, and we are considering our next steps and appealing the court's ruling today. All right. Thank you all very much. I really appreciate it. He's doing good. Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. I'll do that. In the past, Essex County, New Jersey, it's a county facility, but it has a contract with the federal government, and you can get a certain number of federal inmates in Essex County, New Jersey. And in my experience, it's an easier place to deal with. I think it's better for the person being housed there, and it's easier to get access, to him. I mean, one of the hardest things when you're preparing for a very significant trial with a great deal of discovery is you want your client to be able to have access to the electronic discovery. Nothing nowadays is in paper form. Everything's electronic. So you need to make sure that your client has access to a computer and then I can look at discovery, that comes in. So that was my idea. I'm going to go. Thank you. He's good. Thank you.
He said I told you what he's about to do. I've done it many a times. He's gonna find his favorite restaurant, and he's about to have him a nice cold drink. Because today was rough. He said they're already preparing for trial, so he's about to continue to prepare for trial. But I do agree. Like when you look at Ghislaine Maxwell, you look at Epstein, all of them were remanded. When you look at it, he's trying to separate his client from that. R. Kelly was remanded as well. So this is starting to be the trend. I believe that a couple of those cases were in the Eastern District and not the Southern District of New York. I was told they have a 99% conviction rate in the Southern District. I haven't looked at the statistics, but that's what I was told by somebody in New York that practices there. So that'll be very interesting. So there we have it. Looks like they taking a mic, so they don't think they about to get anything else. So I guess we're not going to get anything else. Thank you guys again for rocking with your girl. We'll be back on it. You know how we do. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I really, really do. I cannot say that enough. Thank you for all of the super chat. We had a great conversation. I'm glad I came on instead of taking my nap, because that's what I was going to do. But you all have a great evening. I'll see you around these YouTube streets.